Hi, I'm Jessica Reiling, and this is my persuasive speech. This is my audience. And today's topic we're going to discuss is the cochlear implant. So, I will begin. How many parents sitting in this room today has done all the necessary research on cochlear implants before you decide to drill holes into the tiny, fragile skulls of your children? For those of you who haven't, I've done my research for you. In today's workshop, we will discuss the medical breakdown of what a cochlear implant is in layman terms for you, the risks and the success stories. Also, I want to discuss with you the time and money after the surgery. Along with that, I'd like to discuss the topic of children who are growing up deaf but are supported by parents who are knowledgeable as to what their children needs to be successful. By advocating for them, your child is ensured to grow up with a very enriching life and be afforded the same opportunities as hearing children. But please understand this. Once you have decided to do the cochlear implant, your child will not be able to participate in contact sports or just do a simple swim at the deep end of the pool. Along with that, I want to shed light on the culture of the deaf, the language in which they use, the arts involved, the education, and all the opportunities that your child could be afforded, if just as long as you expose them to their culture, their deaf culture. So to start off, let's break down what is a cochlear implant. Well, what it is, it's a small device made up of several minute little parts. One part of the device is surgically implanted into the bone of the surrounding ear. It is made up of a receiver, and it accepts and decodes the sound in which it hears and then sends electrical signals to the brain. Now, the second part of that implant is made up of a microphone receiver, and it processes it and then sends those electrodes into the brain. Some of the risks that are involved once you have this procedure done is obviously infections with the actual scar. Also, the skin may not properly heal over to the device, and it may even reject this foreign device inside the body. Facial paralysis, leakage, or even infection of the fluid that surrounds the brain. Dizziness, and even failure of this device. It does have its perks. Your child will be able to hear, but understand your child will not hear like you and I hear. That child may be able to pick up certain environmental sounds, and if it is truly successful, be able to be trained to understand and learn speech. But once again, I want you to understand, once this is installed, does not mean, oh, your child can hear. No. Your child is going to have to go through years and years of training. So are you ready to be supportive and be committed to take your children to the different audiologists and speech pathologists and trips down to your doctor, which I'm sure not everybody lives in the Miami area. So you have to be able to travel and invest the time, money, and gas for that. And along with that, not only do you have to commit to all these appointments, but then you have to include the cost of batteries. What happens when that doesn't function? What do you have to do? You have to go in and then replace some of whatever is not working properly. But on to my next point. It is up to you to educate yourself. You are the only one who's responsible for advocating for your children. By doing this, your child is guaranteed to reach their full potential, which may not be the same for all children. Which deaf, hearing, it doesn't matter. But I need you to understand that even if you don't decide with this cochlear implant, your child, by law, is protected in regards to having equal access. So the law requires schools to provide a sign language interpreter for your child, and whatever your child decides to do. During school hours, after school hours, whatever that child's goals are set to. Please, I want you to know that once your child has this cochlear implant, the child will not be able to participate in contact sports involved in that school. So if your child wants to try out for baseball or football or what have you, they're going to advise against it because of the sensitivity to all of the equipment in your child's head. Now moving on to the cultural aspects of it all. Please understand they're going to tell you that sign language is not a language. It's proven. Do your research on it. Sign language is a beautiful thing that has its own structure, grammatical features, and rules. There's even linguistic studies done on it. It is used in schools all over the world. There are also schools established for the deaf with the same deaf club or with the same clubs as hearing schools. You have football clubs, drama, I mean, you name it, they have it. And it's in a world that's so enriching for your child. If your child grows up exposed to the deaf culture and the deaf community, they will be accepted by the deaf culture and the deaf community. There are clubs for just about anything. For example, the National Theater of the Deaf. I mean, look them up. They've done amazing things for over the past years, which I'm sure you're unaware of because you're not exposed to deaf culture. There's so many avenues that are available for your child if you're willing to allow them access to their world, their culture. I mean, please remember that once you take that device off, even if it's the most successful case they've ever seen, your child will always be deaf and never hear like you. So now that you're aware of these pros and cons, don't just stop here. Continue educating yourselves further. This will only allow you to empower your child and not allow the world around them to oppress them. It's up to you. It's your responsibility as parents. Your child didn't ask to be born this way either. I understand. It's very frustrating, and trust me, I was raised with deaf parents. I get where you're coming from. But look to this as not a tragedy, but as an unexpected, exciting new journey that you can learn from, exploring the enchanting world of deaf culture. Thank you.